Tonight, Joe DeShiel reports on a new monument and the decades-long effort to place it there.
May they rest in peace, forever free.
A brief ceremony beside the Blue Ridge Parkway almost brought Bob Hefner to tears.
Ellen died a slave December 16th, 1862, at 1 year and 2 days old.
An emotional moment more than 30 years in the making.
It has been a long time coming.
And those slaves should have some type of a monument.
We interviewed Hefner back in 1985 for a documentary on the 50th anniversary of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and he told us then how the cemetery was erased during the parkway's construction.
The rocks that marked the spot where they were buried at, the slaves were buried at, were moved. And now there is a graveyard that's nothing but weeds anymore.
But 33 years later, the superintendent of the Blue Ridge Parkway and more than 40 others gathered to dedicate a monument recognizing the Slave Meadow Cemetery.
The Blue Ridge Parkway is not just a ribbon of pavement through the Appalachian Mountains. It's a way to discover all of the stories throughout all of the communities that neighbor the Blue Ridge Parkway.
So the next time you pass this way, Hefner hopes you'll stop to read this memorial. Think about the people who are buried here, their role in building this part of Virginia, and the hidden history that's hidden no longer. In Patrick County, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ-7.
Landowners' rights and the threat of environmental damage have dominated the debate over the Mountain Valley Pipeline. But residents of Roanoke County are also raising questions about the impact on historic resources. Today, WDBJ-7's Joe DeShiel took a closer look on a visit to Bent Mountain.
On steep hillsides and open meadows, survey teams have marked the proposed path of the natural gas pipeline. Along with the natural beauty, residents of Bent Mountain say there is human history that will be affected by the project.
This is the spring house, and these are the troughs that are used for cooling, for refrigeration, for milk, and for dairy products, butter and so forth.
The pipeline would pass just a stone's throw from this 19th century homestead that Karen Scott's family is restoring, and through the apple orchard that has been in Inky Martin's family since 1935.
It's a lot of rich history here and everything. It's our history.
The Virginia Department of Historic Resources has designated 2 historic districts on Bent Mountain, reflecting its agricultural heritage and residents who arrived in the 1700s. But pipeline opponents say some of the archaeological evidence is even earlier, and they're pushing for a pause in any construction activities.
We're describing times that go back as far as 3,000 to 10,000 years. Until somebody really gets in there and looks at that, no one is sure what might be missed.
A spokesperson for the Mountain Valley Pipeline says one of the company's primary objectives has been to design a route with the least overall impact to landowners and their communities. The Mountain Valley Pipeline must satisfy federal regulators that it has minimized the impact of the project on the region's historic and cultural resources. Residents here on Bent Mountain argue that clearly hasn't happened yet. In Roanoke County, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ-7.
Oliver Hill received the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his role in the Civil Rights Movement. He was honored in Richmond, where a building in Capitol Square carries his name. And now he's receiving recognition in Roanoke, where he grew up. Senior reporter Joe DeShiel is reporting live from Gilmer Avenue, where a historic marker was unveiled earlier today.
Well, Robin, Oliver Hill was born in Richmond, but he considered Roanoke his childhood home. He was raised in this building here on Gilmer Avenue, and now there's a marker honoring his ties to this neighborhood and this city. A Virginia historical marker approved in 2008 was finally unveiled Friday outside Oliver Hill's childhood home.
Here in Southwest Virginia, where he grew up and formed his values, we want to recognize him in a great way.
Roanoke Times editorial writer Dwayne Yancey discovered the marker was never installed. Former Mayor Nelson Harris raised the money to make it happen in just 6 hours.
Unquestionably, segregation is immoral, it's uneconomic, and it violates our Christian and democratic principles.
Oliver Hill won his first civil rights case in 1940. By the early 50s, he and other attorneys were fighting segregation in Prince Edward County, one of the cases that would lead to the Supreme Court and the landmark Brown versus Board of Education decision.
We're very proud of my father
We're very appreciative of Roanoke for giving him this honor. And on a deeper level, I think it's important because this is getting the story out of people who might not have been in the history books. And I think that's going to be an important move forward in race relations in this country, hearing each other's stories.
This historical marker isn't the only way the city plans to honor Oliver Hill. Robin, Mayor Sherman Lee also announced today that City Council plans to name the city courthouse downtown in Oliver Hill's honor as well.